Have you ever met someone brilliant who quietly falls apart? Not from failure, from something else, something nobody warns them about. We're told intelligence is a gift. The smarter you are, the better your life should be. But psychology tells a different story, a darker one that never makes it into the highlight reel of being gifted. Today, we're going to talk about the hidden cost of a high IQ. And by the end, you might understand someone you know, or maybe yourself, a little differently. 1. The isolation nobody sees. Highly intelligent people often think in patterns others can't follow. They see 5 steps ahead in a conversation that everyone else is still on step 1 of. This sounds like an advantage. But psychologists say it creates something quieter and heavier, a kind of loneliness that doesn't look like loneliness. You can be in a room full of people who like you and still feel completely unseen. Not because no one cares, because no one is thinking at the same depth. And over time, that gap becomes exhausting to keep explaining. 2. The mind that never stops working. A high IQ often comes with a brain that processes information constantly, even when it's supposed to rest. Some researchers link this to something called cognitive overexcitability, where the brain reacts more intensely to ideas, emotions, and possibilities than an average brain does. It sounds impressive, but it also means the switch to off barely exists. Sleep gets harder, silence gets harder, because the mind keeps running simulations long after the body wants to stop. 3. The fear of being ordinary. Here's something rarely spoken about. Many highly intelligent people build their entire identity around being the smart one. So when they fail or struggle or simply have an average day, it doesn't just feel bad. It feels like a threat to who they are. Psychologists call this identity fusion, when a trait becomes so tied to self-worth that any crack in it feels like an existential crisis. This is why some brilliant people quietly avoid trying new things. Not because they're lazy, because failing at something new means facing the version of themselves they're most afraid of. 4. The trap of overanalyzing everything. A sharp mind doesn't just analyze problems, it analyzes people, conversations, tone, silence, everything. This can look like wisdom from the outside, but internally it can become paralyzing. Every interaction gets replayed, every decision gets tested against 50 possible outcomes before it's even made. Psychology calls this analysis paralysis. And for a high IQ mind, it isn't occasional. It can be constant. The very tool that makes them brilliant is the same tool that keeps them stuck. 5. The emotional weight they never show. Intelligence and sensitivity often travel together. Many highly intelligent people notice more injustice, more suffering, more contradictions in the world that others simply don't register. This heightened awareness has a name in psychology: existential depression. It's not sadness without reason. It's sadness that comes from seeing too clearly, from understanding how complicated, unfair, and uncertain life really is at an age or depth most people are never forced to confront. And here's the part that rarely gets said out loud. None of this makes intelligence a curse. It makes it a responsibility. A mind built to think deeply will always carry more weight than a mind built to move fast and forget. That's not a flaw. That's the price of depth.
So if you've ever felt too aware, too intense, too much for the room you're standing in, maybe the problem was never you.
Maybe you were just never given the instructions for a mind like yours. If this made you see intelligence differently, you already know what to do. Subscribe, because next time we're going deeper into the mind most people never get to see.